Thank you for taking time and reviewing all the videos in our channel. Let's get into today's topic. Due to the ever increase in fuel prices, a lot of customers are switching towards LPG and CNG as an alternate fuel to run their petrol vehicles. So in this video, you'll get a quick glimpse on what are the types of kits, what are the pros and cons, and do you really need to switch to LPG. Having said that, so you have made up your mind to make this switch. So it's our duty to explain what are the pros and cons to ensure that you know what you're getting into before you make the switch. Let's get into the pros first. So first, you're going to have a significant impact in running cost. So you're going to have cheaper running cost for the cost of fuel, which is the alternate fuel, which is LPG or CNG, is much more cheaper than petrol. So you can have cheaper running cost. It's also a cleaner fuel. When I say cleaner fuels, both in terms of carbon deposits inside the engine and emission. So LPG is much more cleaner, so you run clean, lesser carbon deposits in the engine, and also you would emit less carbon into the atmosphere. So being a cleaner fuel, it also increases the engine life. It prevents less carbon deposits inside piston, crank, overall engine components. So you have an option to switch fuel. That's another pro. For example, if you want to drive about 1000 kilometers, which is also just a non-stop commute, you can have 2 tanks filled with petrol and gas. When I say gas, it's CNG or LPG. You can drive non-stop without stopping over for fuel. So that's another advantage. So having said the advantages, let's get into the cons. The first is to maintain pressure in larger engines. There's a lot of misconception that I have also read a lot recently that a lot of luxury car owners, the predominantly used cars, BMWs, Audis, and Mercedes. So there's been a lot of people switching to LPG kits. So let me explain the disadvantage here. So as I said, it's a cleaner fuel, definitely better, but larger engines have a higher fuel pressure. Right? So especially when you have better acceleration, there's something called an inline rail pressure. So that needs to be maintained. It's close to about 4 bar, 4.5 bar, 5 bar, which is about 45, 50, 60 psi. So that maintaining that pressure by a LPG or a CNG kit, it's going to be very difficult, and this will definitely fail in a lot of top-end cars. So my advice would be not to convert your high-end larger engines to LPG. Instead, if it's going to be a small engine like 1 liter, 1.5 liter, 2 liter engines, it's still okay, right? So what happens is, even if it can't maintain the pressure, so they would block the air filter so that the engine, instead of sucking air, it will suck the fuel better. Of course, there'll be a little bit of space for the air to come in as well. So that's another easy mod that they do. The conversion kits and the mechanics would do. So you can maybe have until 1.5 2 liter engines you can do it. Anything bigger than that, it's going to be difficult for the kits to maintain pressure. So that will lead to frequent engine knocking, pre-ignition, so a lot of engine complications. A lot of different types of kit. So the earlier kit used to be a carburetor kit where it's a kind of a release valve which is directly mounted on the intake throttle body. So that's the simplest kit. It was earlier used for industrial uses. Nowadays people are using it in cars, which is simple for smaller cars. For any car for that matter, you can use the kit. But nowadays the technology is improved. They have MPFI kits, right? So I'm not a big fan of MPFI kits because no matter what you do, you're not going to match the car's actual ECU timing. So it's not always going to be a little lag. So you drill pipes into the intake manifold and feed in gas directly into the engine, not directly into inside the engine's intake manifold. So just like how the fuel injectors work, right? But fuel injectors have much more pressure in the system, and they could precisely shoot in fuel at the right time when the engine wants to fire, but gas systems can't work so efficiently. So I would prefer the first kit, which is a carburetor type intake based type. but people are moving towards MPFI kits, so that it has a little advantage in terms of lesser errors and better pickup is what they say. But I will still stick to the normal intake wala kits. So this is predominantly the two types of kits. Lesser refilling stations. So when in case we're planning to travel a long commute, let's say from Delhi to Noida, or even more Delhi to Agra, you might have hardly about 5-6 fuel stations, and you'll need to plan your trip. You can't just fill up wherever you want, right? And also the quality of fuel matters. So which bunk, what's the density of fuel and things like that. So with additional weight, so your tank is going to be really huge. So normally when a car is designed from the factory, tanks are always placed between the drivetrain, so which is between two axles, front and rear tires. So that's the center place the tank will be placed, because having the tank placed in the center will distribute the load, not just load distribution but also better handling. So because the tanks, the LPG and CNG tanks are placed in the boot, there's a lot of load on the rear suspension which will directly impact your handling and also wear out your suspension a lot. So this really causes an issue. It's a big no-no for me. But if it's going to be more of a city low speed driving and you have a smaller tank and use it and keeps your tank always half empty or empty, it can minimize this impact. Having said that, the other disadvantage is your engine runs hotter. So liquid, your LPG is in a liquid form inside your tank. There's a lot of heat required to convert the liquid into gas before it's pushed into the engine. So your engine's coolant system is used to make this conversion, and in case if you're running in a colder weather, it's going to make your engine cooling system less efficient and cause a little wear on your head as well, head and intake valves. So that is another disadvantage. Cost of conversion, so obviously it's on a higher side. You have to spend some money to install it, and not just install, you have to have it registered in the RC as well, so that you have all the insurance claims done without any issues. Last but not the least is the risk of explosion. This is more apparent in cars which do not have a boot, predominantly hatchback cars and crossover, when your tank is really exposed to the elements outside and people on other vehicles, when they hit you, you're going to directly have a leak. High probability you will have a leak. So that's because that's another reason your fuel tanks are mounted in the center, not in the back. So that's definitely the most scariest thing. But it's your call, you can take. And most of the cases, a tank is not fit from the factory. It will be done by a dealer, or other aftermarket mechanics. But a factory fit is always a factory fit. Having said that, it's for you to decide. So my verdict here is, if you really want to do it, if you have a smaller engine with a boot, you can give it a try. But only my advice is to ensure that you keep your tank half empty. You continuously use it. If you fill in fuel and let your car stay with full fuel most of the time, then you're going to have challenges, more issues. So smaller car, you're going to use it frequently, keep it always moving. Maybe you can consider change, but I would always stick to petrol just for the safety aspect of it. Thank you.
Thank you for watching the video. I'm sure you liked it. Please give us a thumbs up and share it with your friends and family. I'm sure it will help them as well. Please subscribe to our channel, Autobuff India. Thank you.